Hi, in this module we are going to see how to work with sensors and actuators in Intuiface, and in particular using Nexmosphere devices. This video will rely on the Nexmosphere sample available in our marketplace. Make sure you download it after watching the lesson if you want to dig into this topic. So before understanding how it works in Intuiface, let's have a very quick look at Nexmosphere devices by themselves and their documentation. This is a document that you will need to have. So let's go to Nexmosphere website. Among support documentation, you have this API manual X script serial. That sounds technical, it is a little bit, but you will need this manual if you want to understand the different commands that you can receive from the Nexmosphere devices and that you can send to the board as well. This PDF here contains documents, commands about all the devices they have. We're going to just have a look at one or two of them today. First, very important thing to understand is the structure of a command of this Xscript API. So if we look at the command structure, it's fairly basic. We have 4 parameters: type, address, format, and command. With these 4 fields, we will be able to communicate with any device on the board. So how does this translate into Intuiface? Let's have a look first in play mode. So that's the sample in Marketplace. I'm going to press and release the 2 buttons here on the top left, and you should look here on the left-hand side with type, address, format, and command that we receive from the board. So let me start with the button on the left-hand side. If I press it, we have address number 1, format A, command 17. If I release, I get a 0 as a command. If I press number 2, the button on the right-hand side, same address, same format, different command. Actually, the number 1 comes from here. This is the address number 1, but you see on the experience, this will be number 2, 3, 4. We have nothing here today. 5, 6, 7, and 8. These are the different cables on this single unit. If you have more units, you have more addresses. You can go up to 100, I guess. So lots of combinations here. By the way, you can see now I have an address number 5. That's because I passed in front of the distance sensor, and the command is the actual distance coming from it. So how do you use this information in Composer? How do you make this green circle appear when you press the button? Or let's go maybe with a more realistic scenario. How do you play a video when you press one of these buttons? One of the things you should start with would be to just drag and drop the Nexmosphere plugin, the interface asset, to use the default design accelerator. This will give you some information, help you to connect to the portcom, and get some logs here so you can see the actual commands. I'm going to add a video asset. There we go. Which would probably be bigger, hidden, could be full screen, right? It's just a demo scenario. And we are going to use these button triggers. So if I go back to my PDF, the manual for the API, and I go, I think it's page 11. Let me look at that. X-touch, X-push button. That's the one. So we have button 1, which is the one on the right-hand side, and button 4, which is the one on the left-hand side. Actually, as you can see here, we have 4 little plugs. We could plug up to 4 buttons on this one. The one on the right side is plugged on number 1, right on the left side, number 4. So these are the commands X001A3 and 17 that we're going to receive in Composer. Okay, on the Nexmosphere interface asset, we have one single trigger. A command is received. Fairly easy. Let's add a trigger here. So we receive a command, we have nothing here, and we are going to use conditions. Based on the parameters of the command, we will display one video or another. That's the idea. So let's add a condition. I want the condition to be on something related to the trigger itself. And see, I have again access to type, format, command, address, or even to the full line, depending on how you want to go. So I will show you both examples. Let's say for the button on the left-hand side, I would go with the full line. And we said the one on the left is, yeah, I'm doing a copy and paste from my notes. It's an X command, address 1, type A, command 17. This means the button on the left is pressed. So when we do that, I'm going to call an action on the video. I will change the video. I don't have any video in my project. Let me grab one. I will use one of the sample video from our Intuiface company presentation sample. Let's go with popcoms. I love this one. So we'll change the video and duplicate so it's faster. I will play the video, and yeah, it's already visible. Let's go with that. So that's one way. I'm a bit lazy, so I'm going to right click here on the trigger and do a duplicate. And I was doing this too fast. Let me remove the action. You need to first select the trigger to make sure that the left-hand side is selected, and now duplicate. So we have twice the same trigger doing the same actions. I'm just going to change here the condition. So the first one was using the full command. Depending on the scenario, depending if you're going to play with the RFID readers when you may need some detailed commands on the fields, you could go with address. I want this to be only 001. And you can add a second condition. I want the command to be not 17 this time, but 3. That's the command for the right-hand side button. And the action will be the same, except I will load another video. So let's pick another one. Let's go with Paolo's trade show for Microsoft. Okay, let's give it a try. I'm going to play mode. Now, because I'm launching this scene, not going through the configuration step, I need to make sure that I'm using the right COM port and connecting. Okay, the port is open. So let's go back to the board. I will press the button on the left side. Now, we have the Antillean video starting. I can release, nothing happens. And if I press the button on the right-hand side, now we have Microsoft video starting. So you can see here in the logs that you have the list of commands. You can see a couple of commands from address number 5. That's because I was going, again, on top of this distance sensor. That's what pollutes a little bit the logs. But all the commands based with address 1 are related to the button. 17, I'm pressing the one on the left. And 1.3, I'm pressing the button on the right. If you wanted to do something with the RFID readers, you can see I have some pucks here representing objects. If I pick up one, I get 2 commands. That's the specificity for the RFID. One is about the reader, which antenna. So that's the number 7 here, which is actually this one plugged to the port number 7. And the other one is this one, XRPU002. This is because I'm using the object number 2. So you have one command for the object, one command for the reader. Again, it depends on what you want to do. Assuming we want to start a video when we pick up this one, that would be the XRPU for pickup. Number 2, that's the ID of the tag. If I put it back, you should see a PB, which means placed back. So let's do that just with the 2 tags I have, and we will see that by using only the tag IDs, you don't care about the location on the readers. You're going to have a shelf with 2, 3, 4 readers and just care about the object, the RFID tag itself. So mechanism is the same, right? So I'm still using a duplicate here to go a bit faster. Let's say this time the address, actually I'm going to go with one single command line, might be simpler. So I want the RFID pickup number 2. So that's the RFID pickup tag number 2. I want to play a video Let's grab another one. Museum example, okay. And then I will add a new one. Pick up number 1, so the other perk which is on the left side on the board. And this time I will play a video about, let's go with the flagship store, the telephone project. Okay, that's it. So fairly simple, right? Just one trigger depending on what you want to capture from the sensors. Again, let's connect. This connect part, you would automate it with a timer that would detect automatically the port and click on the connect button automatically. So if I pick up the tag number 2, I have the museum medley, I guess. Yeah, that's the museum project. If I pick up number 1, now I have the phone project. Now I can invert the order, just place them back, I don't care. If I pick up number 2 again, we should go back to the museum. So in this scenario, we used the tag number, this number 2 or this number 1, to decide about which video we wanted to play. We talked about the sensors. The actuators are here, the LEDs. Okay. See this command here? That's actually the command part of the full command line to send to the board. I added here a little button to open the manual, actually about the LEDs, that gives some specificities about how it works. So if we look at the single ramp, right, that's this mode here, going from one color to another one with a ramp time, this is the kind of command. So X is the type, 001 is the address. In the demo, in our case, it will be number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's number 6 here. B is the type of command, and then we have this number, which means a lot of things. For the single ramp, this is the definition. Kind of simple. For the pulse or the wave, you can see that it can get pretty complex, but as soon as you have figured out the kind of animation, the kind of colors you want to build, it's pretty easy to type this thing. And we provided a helper in the sample to build all these commands based on the color you select, on the value you select for the intensity, etc. So if I grab a new color here, you can see that this 01 just changed. That should be 02, that's 03. And if you look at the board, the colors are changing at the same time because I am actually sending this command. In this scene, if you press the space bar, you open the debug panel. That's also a little hidden things we added for ourselves to help when building the sample in the marketplace. So you can actually see the command which I am sending each time I am drag and dropping a new color. That's 07. This first number will change the intensity. It's a value between 00 and 99. So don't look at the 2. 2 is for single ramp. 99 here is the intensity between 00 and 99. And 05 here is the ramp time. How long would it take to go from one color to the other? So if I change that to, let's say 50, and go something far from the orange, let's go with the blue. There we go. You can notice here now there is a very slow animation. If I change this duration back to 0 and go to red, as soon as I'm going to drop the red, it turns red. So that's what you learn from this document. Looking here for the single ramp, command type 2 is for the single ramp. LED intensity, this is 45 right now. This is this value. The color label is 1 out of the 16 available colors by default, which is the hexadecimal value. So if I grab this one, for example, I get a D. You can change these default colors. We didn't do it in the sample to keep things, I want to say, simple, but you can change the colors and put your own RGB colors and save them on the board. It's explained here in this page. And that's about it. So now if you look at the more complex commands, you can see that we help to generate these things based on the figures. So now how does it work in Composer? I may not go into the full details of that. I will let you spend some time in the experience and come back to us if you have some questions. I will just show you the very generic idea and where to look in the sample. So in this scene, I built it with one layer per feedback for the sensors, and we have this hidden layer for the light controls where everything happens. What you can see here, we have the send command. Let me try to find this one here. Send command, that's this one. It has 3 is released with conditions depending on which toggle button is selected, which will actually call one of these 3 hidden buttons that will send the ramp, the single ramp, the pulse, or the wave command. So let's look at the simple one. This one has one action, and that's what it is. So when the button is released, then on our Nexmosphere interface asset, send the next script command, type address format. Address number 6, that's the position of our lights on our board. X and B are the strings to control the light. And this command here is retrieved from an interface asset which we added here in the sample to make our life easier, yours and mine. This is basically a text concatenation tool. So if we look in here in the interface assets, we have text concat for the single ramp, the pulse, and the wave. We have 10 empty values and the output of this thing. If we look at the properties, we have one result. That's A plus B plus C plus D plus E plus F, etc. All these fields added one after the other. So for the single ramp, it's fairly simple. 2 is the main command. That's the intensity, which is bound to intensity. And then you will go through the binding to figure out how we build these things. This is the selected color. That's the selected color. So when I do a drag and drop, I save the ID of that color and I reuse it here in the command. And this is the ramp time. If we look at the wave, it's a bit more complex because the command is longer, but that's the same ID, same mechanism. So to send a command, just call an action. And you could say, if you know exactly what color you want, again, let's go to the basic scene. Here, let me add a button that would do whatever it needs to do in the experience itself, like maybe play the video or show something. At the same time, you could say Nexmosphere. I want to send a next script command. I want to send the next command on the address number 6 because this is my light. This is where I need the documentation because I don't remember it. I don't speak the X script fluently. So if you want to learn more about the lights, go back to the Nexmosphere website. You have this specific PDF, which is in addition to the X script. Everything you need to know about the LEDs and the controls. That's the one I added in Composer. So let's go with the single ramp. That's the kind of command. So let me actually copy this one. And so we just need the command here. So this will do a single ramp at 50% of intensity using the command number 1 and using a ramp time of 5. Okay, let me go use a 0 so it's a bit faster. And I will use another color. Let me pick, yeah, number 1 is already red. Our lights are red right now. Let me pick number 2. We should get a green. So green. Okay, let's hit play. Don't forget to connect. Okay, I'm connected. I'm pressing the button and releasing. And I forgot to put the right command. This is how it works. I mean, this is not S, this is a B. COM11, connect, press release, green light. Here, there we go. That's it for today. Basically, this interface asset can work with any devices of the Nexmosphere brand using one simple trigger, command received using this X script language, if we can say, and one command, which is send extract command. By the way, here I use this version where we split the different fields because we find it easier to send. If you know your language, you can send the command line directly by putting the command here. Up to you. Thanks for watching, and if you have questions, don't hesitate to comment in the video or to contact us on support and community.